Hello and thank you for joining me on Dishing with me, Heather D. Today I will be making homemade chicken noodle soup, and I am starting out with a whole chicken. Now this chicken has been thoroughly washed and cleaned and everything. So now I am going to let this cook in the pot of water. Probably look like I don't have enough water, but I don't want to add too much. I will add accordingly as I need. And I also have some chicken broth that I plan to add to this soup to make it a little flavorful. But for now, I'm just going to go with the basic water and the chicken. And I have it on a medium low temperature. I'm going to cover this to allow this to boil also. So I'm going to start out with some seasonings. This is just garlic powder, pepper, and a little poultry seasoning that I'm going to add in here. And then I'm also going to add a little salt and dill. For some reason, I like the way dill tastes with my soup. It just kind of gives it a nice little flavor. The ingredients will be in the description box below. And I also have some shallots. I have some celery here. When I have leftover celery from a previous dish, to keep it from going bad, I usually just chop it up, put it inside my food saver and bag, and suck all the air out, and then I place it in my freezer. So whenever I need some vegetables like celery or bell peppers, it's already ready. So I'm just going to dump in my celery. This is going to give it some good flavor. My kids are not big on big chunky vegetables inside of their soup, so this is pretty much going to help flavor it. And then I'm also going to add a few pieces of frozen bell peppers that I had as well inside my freezer. Now I'm going to let this cover up and let this come to a nice boil, and pretty much just let this cook for a few hours until the chicken is well done and falling off the bone. Then we'll go from there. After about 10 minutes of boiling, you notice all of this film that comes at the top. I'm going to just kind of slowly remove this and just kind of put it into a cup, so that way it removes a lot of that unnecessary fat and impurities that comes from the chicken. Just going to remove it and place it in there. And then I'm going to continue to let it boil. Almost like a process that some of the Jewish people use. But they'll like boil it in a salt, I believe, liquid or brine or something. But I did add salt, not as much. But, you know, you still kind of want to remove some of that from there. Alrighty, now to let this continue to boil. Okay, so it has been about a good 50 minutes, and you see the legs are pulled away from the chicken. So that tells you that this chicken is fully done. So I'm going to remove this out of the pot and keep that broth, because that broth is going to be used, of course, for the noodles and other things I plan to add to it. So I'm going to take it from the pot, remove the meat from the chicken, and go from there. When you see it tender like this, I mean, look. Whoops! Blooper. It just literally fell apart and just kind of fell and splattered. Wow. I'm going to have to use a spoon. So what I have done is strained the broth and removed all of the celery and onion and all of the other pieces from it. And this is the chicken, of course, all the pieces here. I'm going to use part of this chicken and add it to the broth. And then I'm also going to add this Better Than Bouillon chicken base and the Better Than Bouillon vegetable base. Both of those are going to help flavor this broth some more before I add in my other vegetables as well as the noodles, and this is going to come together so nicely. So stay tuned. So what I have added is some finely diced carrot pieces and of course some finely diced celery pieces. What I am going to do now is let this cook. But before I go and let this cook, I'm going to add my chicken and my vegetable bouillon concentrate to this pot to give it the flavor. I'm also going to add just a little sprinkle of seasoning salt because I noticed my broth wasn't quite didn't have the salt flavor that I was looking for. It needed just a pinch. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, bring this to a boil some and let all those carrot pieces and the little celery pieces cook. And then I'm going to add my noodles the last 10 minutes before these are done. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes, and now I'm going to add these extra wide egg noodles to here. And I broke them up a little bit so that way they can, you know, be in smaller pieces. And I'm just going to let the broth cook these. And in about another 10 minutes, our soup should be done. I tasted the broth and it has the perfect amount of salt. So that way it won't be so... it won't be so bland. Have to add that salt to your foods to give it that flavor. Alrighty, gonna let this sit and we will see how this turned out. After a few minutes, you see the soup is done. I have some leftover chicken here, which I plan to put inside of my freezer bag and make chicken and dumplings for next week. So that chicken was enough to make a pot of soup and to have some put to the side for dumplings. So now I am about to put this inside of a bowl. Ooh, that's a little too much chicken right there. Let me see. Put it to the side here. That delicious chicken broth. And, you know, that's usually the main part that makes the soup is the broth. I'm going to get some of that broth there. And I am also going to grab some more noodles, a few more carrots. And look at that. So if you have a child that is kind of picky on having a lot of vegetables in their soup, if you cut the vegetables up nice and small into these little pieces, that will definitely add the flavor that you're looking for, and they will be getting their vegetable intake. Maybe not much, but you know, hey, you got to start out somewhere. And of course, the celery that was in here has pretty much dissolved or disappeared. But this soup, it is ready to be served. Nice pieces of chicken. I'm going to grab that piece of chicken there along with some of that broth. So delicious. Grab probably another little noodle or something over here. This is going to be a very delicious meal on a very cold night. And I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of parsley for garnish. And there you have it, your chicken noodle soup. So if you like this video, please click like, share, and subscribe. And make sure that you check out my other YouTube channel, Heather D's LNA. Trying to build that channel up. I have a lot of different adventures and different things that I do with my kids, as well as little tips for household things and a little sewing and just miscellaneous videos on that channel, Heather D LNA. So, like I said, if you like this video, please click like, share, and subscribe. And I look forward to talking with you. And hopefully I can do a live video recording one of my past recipes. And if you have questions, you can be able to ask them. And I will be happy to try to answer them. Thank you for watching and have a great night. God bless.